Welcome to
You Matter.
In Business.
Your hosts today are Ariel and Miriam. Your brand, your story, and your success.
Because you matter in your business. Welcome. This week on You Matter in Business, Miriam and I are going to be interviewing Elsie Mendez. And she is got an interesting experience doing some very interesting things. And I can't wait till she shares that with us. So Miriam, go ahead, take the lead on this one.
Hi, Elsie, and thank you so much for joining us on You Matter in Business this week. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. Oh, that's good to hear. So first of all, tell us and tell our audience a bit about you. Tell us about your background. Let's get to know Elsie a little bit.
Wow, yeah. So I was in education for 25 years. I was born in New York. My parents are from Ecuador, South America. And I have the privilege of living both in the United States and in Ecuador already as a teenager. So that's where I improved my Spanish. I went at the age of 12 to Ecuador, how to learn the language. And then I've had a few businesses. I've had a bakery business. I had a home staging business. And I did some fix and flips in a 3-year span, did like 13 homes in that time.
Wow. So quite a rounded lot of experience then. What about, have you got kids? Married?
Yes, I am married. My husband's a pastor. We've been in ministry over 34 years, and I have 2 amazing daughters, and I have 7 grandchildren.
7. Wow, that's exciting. That keeps you busy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I've yet to have that privilege. So there we go. I've got that one to look forward to. Fantastic. So you've recently written a book, and it's a book of affirmations. So can you tell me what in your life kind of introduced you to affirmations, and how did you work out how powerful they were?
Great question. So I was in the classroom for 25 years. The businesses that I had were brick and mortar. So it was my family was involved in it, always had somebody that was ahead, kind of leading the way. I was more the administrative side. When I became a solopreneur, when I had to motivate myself and go and wake up every day and do myself, find my clients and fill that pipeline, I realized I needed to believe in myself and I needed to work on that. So a lot of professional development, reading books, and I would hear all the time about affirmations. So I began saying things like, I am worthy and I am powerful. And I would just repeat them. And guess what? I felt weak. And I didn't feel worthy, right? And I was like, what is going on? So I started investigating, researching, following people, just learning more about it. And I realized that affirmations have a process. You can't just pick up a statement and start repeating and think they're going to change. And a lot of people do that. They say they just, you see they post it, they write it, but they haven't made connections. So that's when I decided, because I had reached certain things in my life through affirmations, I said, I need to tell people how to do this because they do work.
Yeah, so it's not like a magic wand. You can't just say something and it suddenly piff, puff, puff is going to happen. So how do you use the affirmations? Because I know that you've got a really good daily routine, haven't you?
Yes. So I do morning routines. Another great tip for people out there. It's very important. There's a lot of information on that. I actually write them out every day. So my part of my morning routines, which is also gratitude and writing your goals out, I write them every day. But my affirmations, I write them daily. And once you accomplish them, you can set that one. You've already reached that one. That's fine. Sometimes you bring them back if you're kind of straying away from that. Okay. But for the most part, it's a daily, I literally write them out. And people tell me, yes, I write them out every day.
Wow. So you change them. Have you got something, Ariel?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you real quick, because I think it's very interesting that the act of writing, the more we engage our senses, the more we remember things. So physically writing, which is something we've lost in our society, but writing those words has a very different impact than just reading those words or even saying those words out loud, because you're connecting more senses, because you're saying it in your head. You might even be saying it out loud, but you're also using that writing skill to further embed it. And I just think that's really cool that you've done that yourself.
Yeah, you're activating that reticular system. That's like when you buy a red car, now you see red cars everywhere. When you're saying these statements and then writing them, having them posted, then you go out and you start seeing opportunities that align with that affirmation. So you're making them happen because you're constantly telling yourself, I am worthy. I am this, but there's activities lined along with that. And that's what the book gets into.
That's interesting. So are they all I am statements?
I do I am statements. They have to be positive. They have to be in the present tense, right?
Okay.
And they have to be in the first person. So I am, because it's, I will be a millionaire. I will be this. I will be successful. It's I am. Okay. And even though my bank account doesn't show it, I am. Even though my weight doesn't show it, I am. That's for people, right? That are trying to, even though, my relationship doesn't show it, I am. And just keep doing that, but you're working towards it. There's other things that align with that.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. I use a similar thing in my coaching, and it's about changing your identity to make things happen. So if you say, I am a fit and healthy person, your brain constantly looks for evidence to prove to yourself that you are a fit and healthy person. And so you tend to do fit and healthy exercises, you associate with fit and healthy people, you do everything that a fit and healthy person would do. And then eventually, because you are putting yourself in that situation, you become that identity. So that it's, I think, I guess, very similar. So do you change your affirmations daily, weekly, monthly, or do you wait until you've achieved being a millionaire before you change I am a millionaire?
Yes. So you want to keep affirming yourself in that area. Once you reach that, then like I said, you can set that aside and say, I've accomplished that, and then move on to others. Other people, it depends. I go through, my book has 12, and I always have a lot of them. And those, I write them out, change them out, put some in. But some people can't handle that because, remember, it has to be aligned with activity. So if you're not having other things attached and you're just repeating them, might as well take them out, because you can't focus. You know how we can't focus? You're trying to do 12 things at the same time. But so
is there an optimum number that you do? How many do you do?
It depends on your goals. Okay. So if you have one specific goal, then your affirmation should be on that. Don't deviate, because then you won't be able to, right? But for me, because I already have some things in balance and check, kind of, like I already have my morning routine for working out. That's not going to change. So I can affirm that I am living a healthy lifestyle every day, and I make better food choices, and I make sure I'm up. That's already part of my process. I can write it down just to affirm myself, get me back and steer me back there. But for somebody who's starting brand new, you don't want to have that plus this plus that. So I would say 3 tops for somebody who's starting out.
Okay, that's a good tip. So give us an example of one from your book that you perhaps have helped you or have helped other women in their lives.
Yeah. So if you notice in the book, I kind of switched it up, split it up into, I'm in a loving relationship with my husband, right? Or because those were some issues that we went through. And sometimes when I achieved that recently, I went to, I'm in a passionate relationship with my husband. So now that became more important. It was stable already. Some of us, as we get older, we tend to, or at least the relationship we've been in a long time, you kind of like, just get into routine. So now I'm like, that's something that I want to do. I want to step it up, right? I want to live the rest of my life with the man that I married of my dreams. Now I have to get back to it, because then it becomes a nightmare. We start as a dream, and then we feel like we're in a nightmare. Maybe you want to take that out of the podcast, but that's the way it is. So saying, now I am in a passionate, that's an example of taking an affirmation that's in my book, and I've now improved it.
Wow, I love that. That's so good.
Uh-huh.
So I was going to ask, how do your affirmations differ from generic ones that you can buy? You can buy little boxes full of affirmations, can't you? Or you can just, I think there's even an app that you can get that gives you daily affirmations. Yes. Why is your book different from other people's? And I'm going to let you say what your book's called in a minute, but because I think that's important as well. But tell me how are yours different?
Because my book will start from your goal. Like, what is it that you want to achieve? Where are you struggling with? And create it based on that. You can't just pick them randomly. That's what I was doing before. It just sounded nice. It sounded strong. It sounded, catchy. It was in style that you hear people say, I am powerful and things like that. And you're just repeating, thinking, it's going to help me. I just got to believe this stuff. But I wasn't dealing with other things. So the book helps you deal with some things. Sometimes you have to take a bad situation and turn it over and say, I'm not this. Okay. Yes, I messed up, in my marriage. Yes, I made a wrong decision. That doesn't identify. We need to change that. So therefore, I'm going to write an affirmation that's going to go against that negative thinking.
That's really good. So it can help you with like negative self-talk, and it can help you reframe situations as well. That's interesting.
Exactly
You can use it for lots of different things.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So why is it so important to personalize them?
Once again, because it's stems, you want it to change your whatever situation you're dealing with, right? So if you're picking now, there's nothing wrong with picking one that you already see out there if it relates to you. Like if it's actually a situation you're dealing with, then yes, if you're feeling unworthy, then it's okay to take worthy and make that your own. But then the book kind of makes you work through what are you going to do to help you feel worthy? I cannot just say it. You have to link it to some activities that are going to help you reach that goal.
So does the book help you come up with the activities to go towards those affirmations, or is that
it takes you through some questions that you self-analyze and say, okay, let me think about this, and then create your own.
Ariel, have you got any insight?
Well, I just appreciated what she said there about the need to. She explained the one she used for herself, and then she had she got to a point, and then she used it as a leap to more growth. So the affirmation adapted as she grew, and she didn't just say, "Okay, I've grown, I've accomplished it, I'm done." She looked at the same affirmation. So Elsie, when you said, I'm in some kind of a relationship, and then that was no longer enough. You wanted to grow more.
Mm-hmm.
That's really a neat skill and a neat thing to teach people, because a lot of people are goal oriented, but once they get the goal, then they feel very dissatisfied. And then they don't understand why I've got my goal. I got that car in the front yard and I'm not happy. Why? Whereas the way your approach to this is really good, because it helps people always look for that. It's not a matter of feeling incomplete at the moment. It's a matter of, where am I going to go tomorrow? What is the growth? And I just thought I would say I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So is your book specifically aimed, Ariel and I have businesses which are specifically related to women. So is yours, do you think that yours is specifically focused on women, or is this a problem are affirmations things that men use as well, do you think?
Affirmations can be used by men as well. I did it. The book was intended as a series that I'm starting. So I have another one that I started writing. So it's sessions for women, because I can relate to that audience. And also I use like being a grandmother, being a wife, being a daughter. So not to say I have men that have purchased a book and they've given me good feedback, but I haven't geared it towards them. I think the language, I think they would feel a little bit like, not relate. They can relate as far as their children, maybe, because there is something about the entrepreneurship side and all that, but not enough in there for men. So it's more for women.
No, well, that's good. I mean, even today, I was asked by a gentleman, do you ever coach men? Well, there's no reason why I couldn't coach a man, but I said to him, I feel that I can relate better to the issues that women have, and the particular problems that come up, or the barriers that they have in life. Elsie, tell me, what's your book called?
The book is called Affirm Yourself by Elsie Mendez.
Okay. And where can they get it?
Amazon.
Okay. And all good booksellers. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. So this is something that you've used a lot in your life. And are there any particular problems or any particular barriers that you can tell us about, that, or maybe some stories that you've had of women that have also used your book that have got over particular issues? Can you?
I have had women call when they identify, because there is a chapter where I talk about a rough patch in my life as a child, going through some abuse. And it was, I sprinkled some of this very lightly. It's like, you'll read it, but it's not in depth. I don't go into details, but it's enough to get people to call me. So then it becomes more of a conversation. It gets woman to woman of, hey, I went through this, and then I can relate to them and say, it's okay, you can get over this, right? Repeating the same mistakes as a mom, you think this is not going to happen, and then guess what? There you are doing it again. So it's opened up so many opportunities for me to just talk to women on their level. Now, personally, there are a couple of chapters in there that I'm still dealing with, and I'm not aligning, and I know exactly. So I keep saying them to myself, knowing that at some point I'll get my mind ready for the activities that go along with it, because there's work that has to go along with it. So if you can do the affirmations, But if you don't have willing to do whatever it takes to get it, then it's not going to happen. And I'm kind of like, I have them there and I work on them and I keep slipping, and it's because of that. I just haven't done the work that I know I have to do.
Yeah, I think, and that's the same with all of us. And I'm sure Ariel will contest to this as well, that we're not the finished picture. We're not perfect in everything that we talk to other women about, and that we still struggle with some of those things as well. And actually that's what makes us more. We've done a whole podcast on this. We've done a whole podcast on authenticity and how important it is that we have that compassion and that empathy with people, and that because we still struggle with those things as well. Erin, is there anything that you'd like to ask?
Well, I'm going to ask a whole bunch of stuff on our next episode, because we're going to talk about the other face of Elsie's business life and how that helps women. So I don't know if you want to wrap this baby up or whether you want to, if you had anything left on your plate.
Well, I think I'm done. Is there anything you'd like to add, Elsie? Is there anything that you'd like to tell our audience more about your book or more about the way that you help women particularly?
Yeah, just if they've ever thought about it and wondering what it is, and obviously, I'd love for them to have my book, but there's a lot of stuff on it on the internet, places you can go to and find out about what they are. Make sure that they don't have to be very complex. Start using them. Pick one and start saying it daily, but make sure that that throughout the day, you're seeing yourself doing things that align with that, right? Mm-hmm. You had mentioned, I love the one about healthy, because, okay, if you're saying that you're healthy, you should remember when you're going to make that meal choice, you say you're healthy, it should motivate you to get out of bed and go work out. So start with something really small, get a feel for it and say, oh my goodness, I could see this happening. And then maybe you'll launch yourself into creating 2, 3, 4, 5 more, or 12 like I do. I'm a nut. I'm an overachiever.
I absolutely love that. I think you're absolutely right. I think there's something things that everyone can learn from that. So, but there is also another way that they can get to learn more about your affirmations, and also about Ariel and myself and the way that we help women, because we're putting together a series of live streaming events, aren't we, Elsie?
So, I'm so excited. Yeah.
I know, it's going to be great. So do you want to tell us all about that?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So ladies out there, whoever's listening, this is an opportunity for you to get set up, okay, for an amazing year. Literally, we're going to be hitting 3 different areas that involve the business into an inner level all the way to the exterior. Okay. And I'm being literal, like literally from the inside out, and how to balance that, how to bring it. So I'm excited. We're going to be working together, and yes, stay tuned for more.
Yeah, fantastic. So, so that's coming soon in the new year, and we'll be releasing more on that. And
can we tell them what it's called?
I'd love to. It's called Own Your Worth. So look out for the series from Elsie, myself, and Ariel coming in the next few weeks. We'll be introducing that more. So it's a live streaming event called Own Your Worth, and it's specifically related to business women. And it's a really exciting collaboration between the 3 of us. So thank you, Elsie. I've learned an awful lot about affirmations, and also understanding that affirmations need to have that action behind it, and the affirmations on themselves. There's no point in just repeating a mantra day after day if you're not going to put the action in behind it and work towards it. So that's fantastic. And thank you for introducing your book to us as well. So that's great. And you're coming back to meet with us for next week for a podcast where you're going to be telling us about the other side of your business. So thank you, Elsie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
See you next episode. After all, it is your brand, your story, and your success. Because Ariel and I know you matter in your business.
Thank you for listening to the You Matter in Business podcast. Please follow, share, like, and comment. We would love to hear from you. This podcast is sponsored by Ariel Faith Photography and Enrich Life Coaching. The show notes provide more information on how to contact Ariel and Miriam, and any guest speakers who share in our journey together.